Hey, it's David Beckham, BreezeFlippers, back in the laundry room, or my shipping room actually, but back in here, and we've got a few orders to ship out today, but it hasn't been a great busy weekend, but it's been a steady week. It's been okay. Not going to complain about the sales. It's been a lot of stuff, we've been looking over and doing. We had a lot of auctions last week. We got a whole bunch coming up this week. So, we don't make a lot of money on eBay. We'll make money somewhere else. So we fill in where we need to. So I think, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I didn't really have a subject today. I actually was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about. And a subject kind of came to me as I was looking at some numbers on something. And I'm thinking it might be time to let something else go, another area of business that we're doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to show what's sold. So let's get into it. So it was kind of an interesting sales week. Seems like this week it was a lot of media. We do find good deals on media a lot of times at garage sales and estate sales. If I can bundle something up in a big bundle, especially like an entire series, I will generally sell that on eBay. If we get a bunch of singles, we'll make little bundles out of that and we sell those on DibDit. So, and it seems to work really well. We do pretty good with those. But this week has been a lot of media. And also talked a little bit about, in the beginning, have to make some tough business decisions. Well, and I'm going to go ahead and lead into it. It's just tell you, I'm thinking about, and I'm going to run through the numbers after we go through what's sold, but thinking about the booth that we have. And when you really crunch the numbers and start looking at something, I'm going to tell you some things that I think I've learned. And I think it's going to be a tough decision. Try to figure it out. It's not something I'm going to make this month. Maybe not next month. We might wait till 1 year. 1 year is going to be in July. So we'll reassess it then and see how things are going and see if anything picks up. It's not bad, but it's something to kind of think about. And when you really start looking at business and numbers, you have to make some tough decisions sometimes. And sometimes those decisions, you have to do away with something, just like we had to do away with Mercari and Poshmark. It just wasn't making enough money for the effort that we put into it. Now, had we put more effort into it? Maybe, I don't know. Some people do okay on Mercari. Some people do really good on Mercari. And if you do really good on Mercari, tell me what you do. I'd love to hear it. I just really couldn't get anything to sell. And I had 400 or 500 items on there. So our sales were so slow. And when Mercari did all their messing around with the no fees and then fees and all that stuff, I just kind of think maybe it lost a little oomph, So, but we did have a few sales this weekend. Nothing stellar. But the first thing that we did sell, and like I said, this is something that we pick up whenever we can. This is the entire Breaking Bad series, all on DVD. And I was at a garage sale and I actually just kind of fell upon this little neighborhood sale. Well, it was a neighborhood of motorhomes. And they were the nicest people. And they were just having a garage sales. And they're basically doing a whole little line of sales. And I picked up from 3 different units all kinds of DVDs, CDs, a bunch of stuff that was just really good media. And this was one of them. I paid $5 for the set. So ended up getting $34.99. It's going out with free shipping. So that'll go out media mail. And it's about, 4 pounds. So it's not going to be that much. So that was the first thing that sold. I thought that was pretty good. Next, I was at a garage sale, another different one. And we picked up this CD. It's Bone Thugs and Harmony, the collection, volume 1. Never heard of them. But I think it's kind of rap, So it's made by Ruthless Records. And it seems like, it's got songs like Shoot 'Em Up, Breakdown, Notorious Thugs, B&K, War. Yeah, it sounds like rap. But anyway, hey, everybody's got to like the music. And if you like this is great. And it's somebody apparently did for $24.99 with free shipping. So that's going out as well. The guy actually messaged me and said, is the CD good? I was like, I wouldn't sell if it wasn't, but yeah, I said, yeah, it was good. I showed him, I said the pictures, I always do a picture of the CD. I mean, even though pictures don't tell the entire truth, but I do try to get in an angle so that you can actually see that there's no scratches on it. The last thing we sold this weekend, actually more media. I have the Doctor Who set, and this is like 5 titles, 1966, 69, 70, 74, 81. Plus the complete 5th series, BI or whatever that is. So anyway, I don't know what that is, but I do like Doctor Who, and it has the new Doctor Who. I do like some of those. I've watched some of them. And these are the old Doctors as well. So this is actually not a bad little deal. This sold for $31.49. I'm actually getting the $6.95 shipping, so that was one that we didn't change before. Earlier this week, we had some other sales, and I'll pop them up on the screen. And by the way, somebody actually said, and thank you for the comment, I appreciate it. Somebody said, hey, could you leave them up on the screen a little bit longer? I think people like to see what's sold, and I like to see what's sold when people do this as well, because, you know, I mean, it's kind of cool, because then I go, oh, cool, I might pick that up or see if I find one. You know, it makes it kind of fun to do. So I will leave them up a little bit longer. But the first thing we sold was, excuse me, King Snake oversized right-handed iron set. So this golf set has been in the inventory for a good year. I think I got it at an estate sale last fall. Pardon me while I take a drink, because I got a frog or something. But I think I got it last fall, and I think it finally sold. So we got $29.99 for it, and that actually sold pretty good. I think I got to look and see. $19.99 shipping. I'm almost positive. Yeah, $19.99 shipping. Now, it didn't quite cost that much, but you know, with the box and everything, and I'm actually out of 45 by 4 by 4 boxes, so I need to order some of those. Got to get those up there. But yeah, that went out. I was kind of happy to see those go, because it's been a slow haul on those, and they've been going back and forth, and I think those were sold on 30% off. So then the next thing we sold was it's called Captain Billy's Whiz Bang November 1924 Volume 6 issue. It's a vintage humor magazine, and it was just kind of a lucky buy. I actually picked it up at an estate sale. I was in the basement, and I was down and looking at a whole bunch of media, and they had actually about 3 or 4 comic books, which I thought was kind of cool. And then they had just a whole bunch of like really old magazines. I mean, really old magazines, like some just like home housekeeping and all this stuff. So I picked all of them up because, you know, ephemera can do well. And that was in there. I had no idea what it was, but I thought it was cool. You know, it's a neat book because it reminded me a little bit of a comic. So it definitely was one of those older books where, you know, they wrote those back in the day, and that was their humor, or it was funny. And so it was kind of almost a predecessor before comics. So anyway, picked that up, actually got that $28.49, and I think that went out with free shipping. So the next thing that went out is, again, lots of hat sales, and not a bad week for hats either. Ended up selling United States Army Veterans hat with the OD green, embroidered, officially licensed. It's new with tags. So sold this one actually for $11.39, and for all the hats, I still get $4.99 shipping. I'm going to charge shipping on hats. Only reason why is because very rarely do I ever get one sent back, but I did get one sent back a couple weeks ago. The guy said he just didn't like it. Well, I didn't want to eat shipping on that. If I have to eat the shipping, then I can't really sell it again. I mean, the hat's in perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with it. So I don't give them back the original shipping. If you do free shipping, you obviously can't give them back the original shipping. So that's kind of the way I look at it, but that's the way it works for me. The next one I sold was another hat, and this was an industrial construction equipment hat, or ICE for short. No, it's not that same ICE, but anyway, that's what it's called though. Anyway, it is a green hat. It was kind of a cool looking hat, actually, to be honest with you. It was brand new, I'm pretty sure. It was just an interesting look. It looked vintage, but it was just really cool the way it was set up. Ended up getting $14.99 for that and $4.99 shipping. So I was happy to see it go. It's been sitting in the inventory for about a year. Another garage sale pickup. The next thing that sold was a bad buy. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now, it was a bad buy. I make bad buys, everybody does. We're a human, right? Sometimes we think it's a good plan and we look at it on paper, and these were some things that I ordered from a business online, and I ordered a whole bunch of other stuff, and I thought, well, this will be a good deal because these things will sell like crazy, and they didn't. So this was actually a Ponner Sond T6 1080p HD LED projector for a home theater. It was a small portable one. I mean, it's a nice one, right? I ended up paying, well, let's see here. It's in my SKU. I think I paid $25 a piece for these, and I was selling them for $50 is what I thought. Well, this one never sold, never sold, never sold. So guess what? It sold for $27.74, and I think I got $12.99 shipping. I can tell you, to be honest with you. I hate to tell you different, but no, I got $10.99 shipping, and it was right at $10.99 to ship, because the box was fairly good size. So I've got one more of these. To be totally honest with you, I don't really know if I want to sell it. I may just donate it because I don't know. It's just like I'm already taking a loss on it, so I won't ever buy stuff like that again. I mean, these were new in the box. I thought they'd be a good deal. They weren't. So yeah, you know, maybe they're good, maybe they're not. There's some that do sell really well, but I think there's just too many out there, and it just makes it, you know, it's like it's just one in a million. It's not really anything special. Next thing I sold though was an Alabama Teeny Mates Big Sip 3D character cup. The Crimson Tide color, Crimson Tide player on it. Looked like a football player, and it was a cup. Sold it for $12.74. I think we got $5.99 shipping for that one, and they already got positive feedback. They were really happy with it. And not to be outdone, and honestly, if I said these already earlier this week, I apologize. But I think it was right when we got back, we sold a Conway Twitty collection 4-CD set with a booklet. Again, more media, but part of that really big buy that I made last year in the fall with all kinds of media. I bought a ton of sets like that, and they've been selling really well. So, but that was Conway Twitty. We sold that one for $21.99. It get free shipping. I also sold The Adventures of Merlin, which is a complete series. I think it was 5 CDs, 5 DVDs. Seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5 were brand new. Season 1 was open. So ended up getting $45.99 for that. So we sent that out free shipping as well. So, and last but not least, more media. We sold the Janis Joplin CD set, 3 discs. It was a little metal case, and really, you know, like I said, Janis Joplin, if you're a fan, you're a fan. $14.99, and that went out with free shipping. So overall, not a terrible week. We got one order that hasn't paid yet. He just got it today. So, and it's just a set of game controllers, and I'll bring it out later. I'll talk about it later, but it ends up being about almost just under $400 for the week. Not going to complain. That's didn't do a whole lot. I listed a bunch of stuff this week. I've kind of found a new system that worked really well for me, where I do use some ChatGPT, and I just go through it. It helps me with the descriptions and some of the titles and cleans up some stuff. I just do a batch of them, like 10 at a time, just go through. I think I listed 35 items in about 40 minutes. So it's working for me, and the ones that I'm doing that way are selling. So in time, they do go through. So I'm not having any problems with it. You know, you check it, double check it. You know, ChatGPT is right for some stuff, and sometimes it's not. You always have to check it, but it's working for me. I'm happy with it. So not a bad week. You know, if I tell you again, like I said, I'm trying to hold off on telling you how we're doing until we get to the end of the month, but technically we're at the end of the month. So I can tell you how we've done so far for this quarter. So far for this quarter, we're down a little bit, down over last year, if you compare it to last year. So about 30%. So, but you know, again, I don't know if it's something we're doing or if it's more just what's going on in the economy. Now, this week, stocks kind of rebound a little bit. I noticed that my 401k wasn't as bad as it looked 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. My stock portfolio looked pretty good. I was happy with that. It kind of started coming back. We're not there where we were, but I think, you know, maybe it's just it's taking a little bit of time for these tariffs to get hold. It's going to take a little time for the other countries to start negotiating back. Some things are going to happen. I think, I don't know, we'll see. Whether it's a positive or negative, again, this isn't about politics. I don't really care about that. But I do care about how the economy looks. And, you know, I see the reason for the tariffs. I understand the reason for it. There has always been a trade deficit. However, maybe there's the right way of doing it. Maybe there's a crazy way of doing it. Who knows? But crazier things have worked, so we'll see. So maybe they'll bounce back and we'll start seeing some things uptick. But, you know, we're coming into the summer, so we got to start being creative here. So one of the things I was thinking about is that, and was really looking at how are we going to do for the summer, right? So last year in our booth, summer was really slow. In July we started, I think we only started a partial month in July. We had a small booth, which was just basically a wall. And we had some comics in there, about 5 boxes, short boxes of comics. We had some pop figures and some different things and just some stuff. We made a few sales, did a few things, but it wasn't really good. So we made that decision. We said, hey, if you got a bigger booth open, we'd like to go to a bigger booth. Well, that's when we did that. And excuse me, I'm still dealing with this cold, guys. So we were dealing with the bigger booth. We thought, well, that's more opportunity. So we did that, moved in, I think it was August, slow month. Ended up paying booth fees. I didn't make enough to pay booth fees, so we had to do that. So September turned around. I think we made a check for $30 after sales. So $110 booth fees, and then whatever sales we made ended up with $30 afterwards. Next month we had about 100. I think December was our best month. You know, we had about 200 over booth fees, and so I thought, you know, these are good. I thought, okay, this is okay, right? I hadn't really dug into the numbers yet. So today it just kind of hit me. It was like an epiphany. You know, I was like, okay, let me think about this, because looking at the sales this week, and I cashed a check for $121 for last month, right? For March. No, it was March check. So it was $121 after booth fees. So I thought, oh, okay, you know, we'll deal with that. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, what did we sell for that, right? How much stuff did we sell? So I downloaded all the numbers since February 1st, because apparently I can't, January is past. So I'm gonna see if I can get the numbers from them for January. But I started looking at it. So I went January, February, March, and then April to look at everything. So February, March, April. Yeah, February, March, April. So 3 months, right? So I thought, okay, this would be easy. Factored in $330 in booth rent, $110 a month. And then I looked at the number of items sold. So total number of items sold are 191 items. So our total sales now at price was $879, okay? So a lot of those were comics, and a lot of them were multiple comics, but I'm just looking at items, total number of items, not looking at anything else, because in my head, I know what my buy costs are on those things, relatively low. I'm gonna say that there's probably nothing in that booth over $3 an item at all. Most of the items are gonna be under $1, because just the way we buy, big bulks, right? So 191 items sold, and then, so at a, let's see, item price was $879 total. So we net sailed $879. We net sailed $791. So I was looking at it. We paid $87.97 in fees, because we paid 10% on everything. So then I calculated that in there, and then came out with, you know, the average. So here's what I came up with. I was like, okay, what is our net after booth fees and fees, after booth rent and fees? Our net for 3 months was $461.05. Now, on the outside, that's not bad, right? Okay, we work the booth once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks sometimes. Just depends how many sales we've had during the week. If we have a lot of sales, we'll go over there and kind of fluff things up and do things. But for the most part, you know, it's not a lot of work. I would say 2 hours a week, if that. Probably closer to 1 hour a week. If you count the drive time there and back, it's 2 hours a week. So I'm not even counting gas. That's probably something I should look at. So I started looking at the fees, and I said, okay, well, average fee per item with booth rent is $2.19. So when we started looking at what our average price per item was, our average sale price, it was only $2.41 an item. So $2.41 an item is basically what we made. So now I'm just looking at items, right? So if you take that across comics and stuff like that, that margin would probably be really good. If you take that across like a Funko Pop figure that we paid $2 for, that's probably not that good. But again, I'm counting all items, single items, just one. So if I've sold 25 comics one day, that's 25 items. I'm just trying to get an idea of a number. So I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know, right now on Dibdit, I can sell a single comic for $2. It pays 10% fees. So I'm probably getting, after fees and everything, I'm probably getting $1.75 or more per comic. If I sell a bundle, sometimes I get a little more, a little bit less. Just depends on how I'm doing it. But I also know that most of those comics I'm into for less than 50 cents a comic, or even less than that. But thinking about things like Funkos and different stuff like that, $2.46 or $2.41 is pretty low. So I don't know. It's like I was talking to Sherry and I said, it's a tough decision because we love the booth. We love the ladies that run that place. They are wonderful people. And, but that's, being that, I mean, wonderful or nothing, it doesn't mean that we can't do smart business, right? So we're going to look at it again. We're going to look at it next month. I'm going to keep looking at these numbers. I'm going to look at it monthly to try to figure out. But, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing with DibDit. I'm looking at that as well. But the bottom line is I can make more money on DibDit selling those same items. I could sell out my booth and make probably 4 to 5 times what I'm making there because I don't pay the booth fee, right? So if I did 2 more auctions a week, or 1 more auction a week, I'd probably make the same amount of money and probably get a better value for most of the stuff that I'm selling. So, I mean, right now our sourcing, we work off of, we source stuff for eBay, we source stuff for the booth, and then we source stuff for DibDit, for our auctions. And, I mean, it'd be a little bit easier just to say, I'm sourcing everything basically for eBay, and then anything that doesn't make sense to sell on eBay, we'll sell on DibDit. Because we source good stuff. It's not like we're selling the bad stuff on DibDit. We're selling good stuff. But it's just sometimes it's easier to sell there. I'd rather get the fast nickel and the slow dime, right? I don't want to sit on something. It might sell. It might be something nice, but it's not going to sell in 2 or 3 or 4 months on eBay. I'd rather get money for it on DibDit and kind of turn that money and go into the next thing and get something else. So it's something to think about. I'll keep you posted on it, right? I think, again, making business decisions it's hard, especially when there's feelings involved, right? Because like I said, we really like these people. But you got to make business decisions for you. You can't make it for anybody else. Just because someone's nice, and they're good people doesn't mean that they're our favorite charity. So we have to kind of look at it and say, where is it best that we spend our money and where is it best that we do this? So I'm considering doing an auction there in my booth to sell some of this stuff off, if they'd be willing to let me. But I was thinking about that too. I thought, well, maybe we could just go and kind of move some stuff because we got a lot of stuff in there right now. I mean, it's full. So whether it be comics or we got pops, we got all kinds of stuff. I mean, we got toys, we got Dick Tracy stuff, we got plush, we got t-shirts. I mean, I have so much stuff in there right now. I mean, there is a variety of stuff. So it's definitely something that we're gonna give some thought to, and I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you guys posted and tell you what we do on each month and just kind of say, because it's all part of reselling, guys, right? We talk about this. This isn't just about eBay selling. It's about everything selling. And as a reseller, I think you can't put your eggs in one basket. If you're just selling on eBay, let me put it this way. If you're just selling on eBay and you're okay with it, you're making what you make, what you want to make, then do it. Don't change anything just because somebody says so. For me, I like to be diversified a little bit, right? So this is my plan and my goal. We talked about that before. The 50K is important because we know when we can do that, one of us in this household can retire. It's not going to be me. It'll be my wife. But one of us can retire and work something full time, which makes a huge difference. It would just free up so many things that I can do differently for our business. So that is our goal. Your goal may be different. If you need to make $200 a month, make $200 a month. Do it on eBay. You can do it easy. You don't have to do anything else. If you want to move inventory really fast, then look at doing one of the auction sites, whether it be Whatnot or DibDit. Personally, I think DibDit's better. The District app is a great app, and the DibDit team is good. These guys are really good, and there's a lot of different platforms. So anyway, speaking of DibDit, I'd be terrible if I didn't at least come out and say what's going on this week. So tomorrow is a comic book raid train on DibDit. Again, DIBDIT.com. You can use BreezeFlips for $5 off your first purchase. And let me tell you, it's going to be a fun day. So I think it starts around noon. We're going to be doing a raid train all day until late in the evening, or like 8 or 9 in the evening. My time is 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be going after Pig in Paradise. So he's going to be going on at 5 Eastern Time, 4 Central. And I'm going on at 5 Central Time, 6 Central. I can't tell time, guys. I'm going on at 5 Central, 6 Eastern time. So anyway, there's going to be a bunch of people doing comics tomorrow, kind of in celebration of yesterday, which was the free comic book day at all your local comic book stores. I hope everybody got their free comic books. But, you know, today is, of course, more than May the 4th be with you, and there's a lot of stuff going on for that. But tomorrow's our raid train, and we're going to have fun with it. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, I'm doing cards over on dibditcards.com. And on Wednesday night, I'm doing another comic book auction at 7 p.m. on Dibdit. And then on Thursday, it's my birthday, and I'm going to be doing an auction. It's my birthday. So I'm going to give presents to everybody else. I'm going to be doing some free giveaways and different things for our birthday. I'm doing that at 7 p.m. Central Time on Dibdit, and I'm doing it with my friend Wes from the Slim Flippers. We all have such cool names, don't we? He's Wes, the Slim Flippers. He is on the Finders Flippers Resell podcast, which you can see me on the last episode because I was a guest on there. And anyway, it's fun. So we're going to be doing that together, a co-stream. It is also his birthday. So he's going to be 56. I'm going to be 59. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so big 5'9". Last one before the big 6'0", guys. So I got a lot of stuff I want to do this year. So I plan on doing it. But I hope that you can join. If you can't, I understand. But at least download the app. Get the district app on your phone and sign in and just see what else is out there. If you're into cards and things like that, there's so many cool places. If you're buying on Whatnot right now, I would say go over to Dibdit and take a look. You get some great deals out there, especially if you're a reseller. I find a lot of stuff to resell on Dibdit. So it's a fun time. It's good. It's, you know, it's just, and they're good people. I have not had one single issue yet with anybody there. So I think you'll find it's really fun. So anyway, that's what's going on. Like I said, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the booth numbers. Something I really got to ponder over and think about it, just kind of really think about it. But it's definitely something that is heavy on my mind. And, you know, if you have business decisions like that too, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you're doing. I like to hear what you're dealing with. Last week's video got a lot of comments, and I want to thank you for that. A few comments that weren't, you know, they're kind of different. Somebody asked me, why would I mess around with eBay and make pennies? And I'm like, dude, I don't make pennies. I mean, last year I made 30,000 part-time. I didn't do hardly anything. This year I'm working a little bit harder, but I mean, good grief. You make 30,000. I don't have to leave my house if I don't want to. I don't have to go out and deliver pizzas or pick up somebody on an Uber. I don't have a problem with this. So pennies, well, you do what you want to do. Everybody does what they want to do. That's fine. So I'm good with it. I'm good with what I do. I make a little more than pennies, but hey, you know, everybody's got an opinion. I like to listen to them. So tell me what you think, okay? Leave a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're here this far, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. The channel's growing a little bit. Love to see that. I think fun things are coming down the road. We're going to make this a fun year. So anyway, I'm David Beckham, BreezeFlippers. We'll see you.